Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host Rachna. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
As I
Thanks.
fix my
How are you?
headphones.
How are you?
I'm better now that I got my. I totally just pulled it out while it was my hand.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing pretty well. I'm very happy that it feels like spring is coming.
Mhm.
It just feels like there's movement. Yesterday was like a cool day, or I felt like there's a lot of opportunities, and I don't know. I'm in a good mood. How are you?
Yeah, I
Kind
feel
of
the
sad,
same
but
way. I mean, I know it's really cold outside, but it
oh, it
feels,
is.
it is, yeah. Well,
Well, it looks
according
so
to the weather
sunny.
report. Yeah. It
It's
feels like
so
it's
sunny.
spring though inside.
Let me see what it says outside. What's the temperature outside? -4? It's not that cold. Not too
I
bad.
mean, it's not 15 degrees.
True. But like -4 is definitely I can do up to -10. I'm pretty fine.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't feel that cold for me. Well, if this is your first time here on Reality Realness, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please do us a favor and subscribe. Be part of our little crew that loves to talk about reality TV. And today we are talking about episode 4 of I was going to call the Jersey Shore. Real Housewives of New Jersey. Shady down the shore. Shady down the Jersey Shore. So, what were your overall thoughts of this episode?
Where is the drama?
Oh my god, you're not entertained.
I'm really not. Like with the other franchises that are currently on, like OC and Salt Lake City, and even some other reality shows that I've been watching, I'm really like intrigued every episode. I'm stunned a little bit. I'm humored. Sometimes I cry, but this franchise is
Sorry,
just really
cry?
not.
When did you cry?
Oh, like on um well, Summer House had a moving
Oh,
has
you started watching Summer House.
oh yeah, I'm watching
Yes.
Summer House as well. They have moving moments, I feel, every episode.
Yeah, I do
Um,
feel for that couple.
I just finished watching Tampa Bays on
Oh,
Amazon.
you've been posting about that.
Yeah.
You're enjoying that reality show. I've not seen it, and I haven't heard very much about it other than from what you posted. So, want to give us a quick reason why you're enjoying it?
Well, it's about a group of gay women or lesbians in Tampa Bay, Florida. I think most of them have like grown up there or near there. They're all like young professionals. There's a few nurses. There's a couple of bartenders. There's an esthetician or like a med spa person. What I don't know what their title is. Couple of like real estate investment women, and there's like three main couples and then a bunch of singles. And I feel like they're loose friends. There's definitely some rivalry in the group. Like one couple is trying to be like the it couple, and I find them to be really annoying, to be honest. Um, I'm probably 10 or 15 years older than them, so their experience of being a lesbian is very different to mine. And I think also because they live in a place that's like hot all the time makes a big difference. It's cold all the time here in Toronto. So there's lots that I don't relate to, but there's also lots that I do relate to. I wish they didn't focus so much on the coming out stories because it's just like such a trope at this point. But I like how we meet a lot of the families. Like we meet almost everyone's parents except for I think one or two, which I think is really nice. That like they're all really into their families.
So,
Um,
what's in terms of like Housewives of Jersey, what are you missing? Like what I know you're saying drama, but like what kind of drama do you want from these women? They've been on the show. I think they're the first franchise that started for the Housewives series. So, they're all the OGs. They've already had all the fights. They've already flipped the tables. We know in New York, they've already thrown a prosthetic leg. Like what do you need from these women that they're not bringing for you?
I think so they're still talking about Louis' video, and I don't think it's that big of a deal.
fair, but
So,
that's the storyline. Yeah, I
you know,
guess.
like
Yeah.
I don't know. Salt Lake City has like so much drama with Jen Shaw and then Mary Cosby, and like Meredith is like always off the rails about something that doesn't make sense to me. And there's just so much to watch. And on this show, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm really waiting for it. I mean, I think we have a lot to talk about from today's episode, but I'm not like dying for next week.
Well, it's to be continued.
Yeah,
If
it's
I'm...
always to be continued though, Chantele.
Hi, Sophie. Do you watch Marriage Boot Camp?
No.
I've seen some celebrity marriage boot camp seasons, a few of them at least. I've not watched any recently. I don't care, unfortunately, about the marriages of civilians. Marriage boot camp with at least reality stars or celebrities, interesting to me. So I would cover like a celebrity marriage boot camp if that came around again, because seeing some of these celebrity couples, it's just like, you guys are a mess. Like, so yeah, regular civilians, I don't have time for that. I have time for the Jersey Shore though. So we're back at the keg party, and we're back at Dolores in Jackie's face. And Frank says that Dolores used to be scrappy, and she used to be like a really big fighter back in the day down the shore.
Patterson.
Yes. What did you think about her being a little bit of a fighter? A little
Oh, it's
bulldog.
believable. I think all of them grew up being fighters.
Yeah, they're all pretty scrappy. I'm not, I mean, I'm not scared of any of them, but like, I'm not used to people being that antagonistic. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah,
can't we just,
exactly.
why do we need to go there? Can't we just talk?
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like a lot of them are used to like throwing tables to get things sorted out.
Yeah, it's a definitely different way of approaching getting a situation, and trying to have some sort of resolution. It's
Yeah,
not my way. So
exactly.
Jackie is 0% scared of Dolores, which I'm impressed by, because Jackie to me seems the most kind of feeble and the most like, you know, gets kind of taken advantage of, and people yell at her. So I'm pretty impressed that Dolores, who I think would like go to blows, that she's not scared of her, or she says she's not anyways.
Yeah, I mean I agree. I think that, but I wonder why Jackie is so invested in being on Jennifer's side over this.
Storyline.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like it's this exactly. It's almost like she's chasing clout.
I mean, they're all kind of chasing clout to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
That's why they keep on talking about certain storylines, is because then they know they're going to get camera time, and then maybe there's going to be more leading questions about, you know what I mean? And so they're going to be able to kind of monopolize on these stories, even if they're like kind of boring and, as you're saying, no big deals at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So one thing that I thought that Jennifer, when she was talking to Margaret about why she was upset, I actually like, I know that Jennifer might have said some shitty things in the past, and she might have made Margaret feel a certain type of way about the fact that she, in her opinion, was flaunting her affair,
Mhm.
and it made her feel kind of garbage, like, and would be mortified if her husband's mistress was around flaunting their affair.
Yeah.
I side with Jennifer still. I know people are like, Margaret's in the right, Jennifer's horrible, but if I'm looking at this situation, I think that Margaret is taking it too far. Like, it's no eye for an eye. Like, you deal with every situation specifically. I
Yeah.
understand why she might be acting this way, but I don't agree that that's the right way to solve a problem. Like, some people think murdering somebody is the right way to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't agree with Margaret deciding that it's her responsibility to
Tell
punish
everybody.
Jennifer and tell everybody
Yeah.
Bill's business.
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I feel like it's one thing for Margaret to, announce, yeah, I had an affair with somebody, and then Jennifer to obviously Jennifer was triggered by that.
Mm-hmm.
And she attacked Margaret. But I think it's a totally different story what Margaret did, which is to basically share a deeply held family secret of Jennifer's,
To
and
get
which
back at her.
exposes, she's obviously been exposed to harm from her in-laws. Her children are being harmed, or she feels like they are.
She said she's in an Orthodox community
Yeah,
that kind of feels as
judges
though
her.
exactly that as a woman and a wife that she's failed. And I
Yeah,
understand somebody being like concerned with that. Like that's a lot of houses to fall because
yeah,
Margaret thinks that she deserves to be
yeah.
punished.
But I really liked that conversation that Margaret and Jennifer had at the keg party, which is where Margaret basically said, it's not your fault. Like I feel like Jennifer really needed to hear that, because it's not her fault that her husband cheated. And, she's obviously in a community that's blaming her, and that's not okay, because it's.
Absolutely. But like Margaret, I don't know if she said it this episode as well, but one of the last couple episodes, she's like, the kids will get over it, get some therapy. And it's like, how about we try not to traumatize our children so that
Yeah.
they need
Yeah.
therapy?
Yeah.
Like, no matter
They're
what,
resilient.
if you're doing the best, God, they're resilient. That's
That's what
so,
she said. Yeah.
that's really, really, I think, a terrible thing to say. She
I
must
agree.
not have any children. I don't even know if she does or not, but like to say like, oh, they'll be fine, they'll bounce back. Like,
Yeah.
what?
It's
Like,
painful.
it's that it alone makes me feel as though Margaret doesn't see how shitty what she did was.
Yeah.
She's still justified. Like, oh, they'll be fine. The kids will be fine. It's not them failing a math test.
Yeah.
Like, it's like their whole world falling apart, and somebody that they look up and idolize is kind of going to be looked at. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm people are Margaret fans. I'm not a fan
Yeah.
of
Why
Margaret
are
at
people
all.
Margaret fans? What do they like about her?
I don't know. Maybe her hair color? Maybe?
Her hair really bothers me.
Why? Why?
I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't bother me, but like it's like funky. So I think that maybe people like her into her hair.
It's just so like different every time I see her.
Short hair. I don't know. She just
I don't know.
ponytail or down. So Dolores and Jackie also have a little bit of a talk, and Dolores didn't really believe that Jennifer needs her that much, feels that Jennifer can kind of hold her own. And Jackie is kind of calling out Dolores on brushing off people's emotions and that she doesn't really take people's emotions as like a determining factor of whether they need her as a friend.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because I'm feeling that Dolores, she only understands anger. Like that's the only color that she sees. She doesn't really understand that anger is usually a mask for most emotions, but especially hurt, pain, and sadness.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even in the way that she's dealing with her breakup from David, she's not really saying I'm sad. She's saying I feel shitty, which is like, if you've been with somebody for 5 years, you're going to feel something. And so her inability to express her feelings is obviously the way that she's responds to other people's feelings, which is to not take them seriously, not even see them.
No acknowledgement.
Yeah. And to almost like brush it off because she can't handle other people's feelings because she can't handle her own.
She needs to get she needs to have a little bit of some talk therapy or something, because like something must have gone on for her to be so scrappy when she was younger. Something must have happened when she was young. Like nobody just acts like that for no reason. So I'm wondering why she's so angry, which means why she's so hurt. What happened? How did she get hurt? I want to know, Dolores, but I don't think we'll ever find out. So we have a lot of vignettes. I found that this episode was really hard to recap because it was just like short scene after short scene after short
all
scene.
over the place.
Like it was, so I'm gonna do my best here. I wrote it down, but like it was very challenging. So we do see a little moment with Dolores and her dog in a unicorn costume. Then we see Jennifer having a connection issue with Teresa on the cell phone, and we see Melissa with her daughter and their dog, and she's holding their dog.
Wait,
Okay,
can we just go back to the keg party really quickly?
go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Literally 1 minute they're scrapping, and the next minute Jackie's like, "Oh, you guys have sorted this out. Okay, great. We're going to the shore next weekend. Are you gonna come?" Jennifer's like, "Yeah, we have a house there." Did that catch you? Did that seem strange to you? How quickly it went from like a fight to, "Oh yeah, party next weekend"?
Well, I'm going to assume that there was at least a couple hours in between. I mean, it looks like it was immediate, but like at this point, Tracy was doing keg stands, right? So like maybe people maybe she's gotten a couple drinks in at this point, and I'm sure the producers like, okay, let's move this along. Like, go and ask them, invite them to.
I don't even think I noticed a cut though. Like it was the same shot.
I'm not sure. But
okay, never mind then.
No, it's totally fine. Like, I don't know if it was, it's hard to determine what time was, right? There was you can't see outside, and it's all the same background. So even if it's the same cut, I think they all know it's like, okay, this segment's done.
Yeah.
Let's go move it along.
Yeah.
I think that either our producers told them to kind of, do the invitation, or they know how to play their roles. So it's like, okay, you guys done? Okay, let's move on. Mm-hmm. This storyline is over, but it'll probably be coming up again at the Shore House,
Yeah.
So back to this very challenging episode to recap. So Jackie, which I thought was quite an impressive moment that she was able to be so open and vulnerable. She goes to the Renfrew Center, which is a center that helps with eating disorders. And so she's speaking with a counselor there, and kind of the counselor really wants to know where she's starting at, where she's at right now. And so they talk about calorie counting, and they talk about the different symptoms that she could potentially be having, whether it's shortness of breath or slow heart rate, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought it was a very vulnerable moment for her to be opening up such a personal side of herself to all of the world. What do you feel about her sharing this part of her story?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, it started last episode, and I think she's really vulnerable, and I think it's really strong of her to share, but to confront, what she's been struggling with and getting help, and also to share that with the world, and hopefully other people can kind of be motivated by her situation or by her, decision to get help. Because I know, it's like something that if you have an eating disorder, it's something you struggle with your whole life. It doesn't really go away, from what I understand.
And she really wants to get help right away. She's reminded of the last episode when her husband was saying that her kids have noticed her eating patterns. And so she really wants to get help immediately. But her counselor there was like, we would really want to talk to your doctor to make sure that there's no other health issues, and kind of suggested potentially if you change your eating habits, you might be at risk of a heart attack or a stroke. And that also became a really scary reality to her. And so I felt really bad for her, and quite scared for her, because she's killing herself, and but then coming to terms with if she needs to change it could be dangerous as well. So it was a quite raw look at eating disorders, and we don't usually see that on reality TV. So it was interesting to see, and also interesting to see how much she has changed from high school. They showed some pictures of her when she was younger. She was still beautiful, but she was a lot bigger than she is right now. And I also wonder, because I work as a coach and a hypnotherapist, I'm always just curious about like what's the root cause, like where did this start? And so I'm wondering if there was a trauma of some sort from the ages of 0 to 7 that allowed her to use food as a way to heal or medicate. And then once the exterior wasn't matching up with the attention that she was wanting from men, boys, other people, she decided to start controlling her food. And so I'm wondering why she needed to have this control. And so that's just me being curious as somebody that is intrigued by human behavior. And she doesn't have to share it. It's none of my business, but I'm curious on a counselor level.
I mean, I found that the part she did share, which is about when she was in, I think in her last year of high school, there was a guy who said he wanted a girl who he can pick up with his pinky finger, which
that wouldn't be the trigger. I don't
like,
think.
No, I know, but it was like what made her go on Weight Watchers. And I'm just like,
who's that loser? He's probably fat and ugly now.
Well, why do you want that kind of, I mean, yeah, like.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You have watched Love It. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just don't know what it's like to want to appease that kind of extreme desire. Like, that's not real. Like, no woman can be picked up by a man's pinky. Like, that's not a realistic woman.
I mean, obviously that's not a realistic woman, but I think like back then the waif look was in. Kate Moss, super skinny, heroin chic, like that was kind of like,
yeah, but we all knew she wasn't healthy. Like,
maybe she didn't, like, or maybe the health doesn't matter. It's not something that she was thinking about.
I know, but I just don't relate to.
I mean, that wouldn't be something that I would be like, you know what, it's time for me to go on Weight Watchers. Like, it wouldn't be my catalyst at all.
Yeah, I almost feel like, you were gonna say something about Love Is Blind, like Shake's comment about can I
pick you up
my shoulders? Like that is almost like a more achievable goal. That I can see that as being something that would motivate a woman to lose weight. But like being lifted up by a pinky finger, like that is not. That is not something that I
mean, I think that he just said pinky finger. It's obviously not, he's never been able to pick up anything with his pinky finger.
And that's
not even like a baby.
That's why I'm just like shocked that it would motivate somebody to do something because it's so far-fetched,
I think it's just maybe he was like always carrying like the young girl, or like maybe he's a football guy and he's carrying some girl. I don't know if it's lifted with a pinky, but I think that being light is what she took from that comment.
Yeah,
being liftable. What I was going to say about Love Is Blind, though, yes, like Shake has that comment, and I find it really irritating when men comment on women's weight. Like, I just like F off, shut up.
It's not appropriate in any context.
In any context, especially like they seem to think that we over exaggerate when we talk about like PMS and bloating and all that stuff. So they don't even think that actually exists. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so then for you to say that like, oh, you should look a certain way, it's like you have no idea how the woman's body even works. So like you have no say like at all.
Yeah.
And so it just also irritates me that I know he's a young kid, so that can be excused just for ignorance. But like, I think in general, men should stop commenting on women's bodies because it's really not their place, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So there's a family meeting at a restaurant. So we do have our little restaurant moments here. There wasn't really anything to say about our hospitality heroes here. So we see Dolores, she's sitting there with her son. And then her daughter shows up. They do this, they hug, whatever, kiss on your mama. And then Frank comes in, and they are going at him for the fact that they do not want him to be bringing his girlfriend to the house that they're all going to be living at. Not Dolores, just the kids and the dad, because they don't want him to be having sex. How awkward was this conversation? And I'd have to say the waitresses. So two waitresses walked up. Maybe one was in training.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
that's what I thought too.
That's all I really detected about that. But what are your immediate thoughts here?
Yeah, I thought it was like an odd choice for a training server to be on camera, assuming that that's why there were two of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
couldn't figure it out. I was trying to think. I'm like, well, either maybe they were just worried to getting the order correct, just because they don't. Nobody on these shows seems to order like normal people, right? Like,
I found their order to be quite normal. Like,
no, it's normal, but how they order it, it's just kind of like calling it out. Like, usually I will, like, if I'm a server, I will ask somebody, what would you like? And they would respond, not just when everybody's ready. They just like yell out what they want. You know what I mean? Like, I usually do it systematically. So
yeah.
I just find it's very, flippant. So we're like, oh, I'll get a red sangria. And they're like, oh, tequila, what's it called? Tequila Mockingbird. And then is like, then she's like, oh yeah, I'll have what he's having. And then I'll have a glass of water. And like, it just, the how of it all just seemed very like, I don't know. I'm just way more meticulous. I would have more control of that table. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like, I guess they just are so unruly, it seems. Food wise, what they had sounded pretty good. I mean, I don't eat meat, but Dolores had some lamb chops. The daughter had a farmer's market platter. The son had the miso glazed salmon, and Frank had the shrimp scampi. So all this sounded pretty good.
Sounds really good, yeah.
But then, did you notice at one point, like, all the dishes, like, with food still on it, were just in the middle of the table?
Yeah.
I was like, where are those two servers?
Yeah.
like, if I had a shadow server, like, every table would be perfect.
Spotless, yeah.
Like, spotless, like, all have proper cutlery, like, no watermarks on tables, like... Anyways, it's on camera and you just see plates piled in the middle of a table. I'd be mortified if I was a server at the table.
Maybe, yeah, I mean, maybe they're really not eating at these places. They're just going in to like showcase the place. And so having the dishes on the table is part of, it's almost like an ad, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be an ad or they pay that place to be able to film there. But like, I don't know. No, it's never a good shot having a pile of food plates in the middle of a table. Like, it just doesn't look good. So that would look bad to me as a person if they were doing it for publicity. So I would not be happy about that.
That's true.
So they're all talking about like Dolores is like, we don't want no trouble under this roof, and it got really awkward in my opinion when they're like, oh, you don't have sex with your boyfriend, you don't have sex with your girlfriend. Like, what did you feel about this family sex conversation about the townhouse?
I mean, it was really weird, but he hasn't lived with his kids since they were toddlers, from what he said, or like infants. So
well, and he didn't seem to ever live with his son because he said she was pregnant when they got divorced.
Yeah, and they do seem to have like fairly free-flowing conversation in general. So
the son's like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Frank took it a little bit far, but I'm glad that his daughter felt like she could say like, I don't want your girlfriends around. Yes. If that's how she felt,
Mm-hmm. And like even Dolores just like smacking him, like it was very uncomfortable. I think he was taking it too far because they're on a TV show and it's kind of humorous to like make your kids feel uncomfortable of talking about sex. Like that's so awkward. Yeah. So I think that he was just doing it for the shock factor.
And I think Dolores was amused by it.
Immune?
I think
she was amused. Yeah. I mean, she likes Frank to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like and it's so interesting when I look at the daughter, it doesn't seem like Frank would be her dad. You know what I mean?
Or Dolores would be her mom. Like,
or Dolores would be her mom. You're right.
yeah, like she doesn't seem like she's a product of those two at all.
It's so strange. The
Yeah.
son more so.
Yes, I can
Like,
see the son. Yeah.
like he's definitely a mama's boy, and like he seems like his dad a little bit.
Yeah, like
But
his body is getting there. Like, you know, he's in real estate. Like, yeah.
so I thought it was, I agree with you though. Like, it does not look like she has those parents, these wild Italian parents.
Yeah, exactly.
The show, Dolores does tell them about David, and I also thought this was interesting that both of her kids really seemed to have liked David, and they were kind of upset by the fact that they were no longer going to be together. So that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think even she was shocked that he would be involved with her family, as she put it, because he wasn't even really that involved with her.
It's true.
Yeah.
So I like seeing those moments. I do like her kids a lot. Like, Dolores might be a little bit scrappy and a bulldog, but I like that family dynamic. I even, like, we'll get to it, but even what she did at the end of this episode, I didn't care for it. I like Dolores. I don't care. Okay, so this is where things get a little bit tricky. So I think we'll just talk about each of the, like, couples separately, because they just bounce couple to couple to couple to couple to couple. Like, it was so hard to keep track of. Yeah. So the first couple that we can kind of talk about is Margaret and Joe. They're packing. She's packing a matching terry cloth outfit. This is to go to the shore. So they're going to be going to Melissa and Joe's house at the shore, and then they're supposed to be going to Teresa's house down at the shore for a barbecue. So they're packing. Then we see Jennifer and Bill also packing for the shore house. Evan and Jackie with the kids. Melissa and Joe show up at the shore house. What did you think about the fact that part of their preparation was to fill their water filter with Tito's vodka?
Disgusting.
I was here for it. It's a good prank.
Sure.
Haven't you? I guess, like, you've never worked at a bar, have you?
No.
So I used to work at this. It's kind of like a mega pub in Montreal, and the middle floor was Winnie's. So it was kind of like the older person floor, and we had like a band every night, but we also had like some rich people that used to come in all the time. And so they loved to prank us for lots of money. And so, like, they would buy like bottles of vodka or whatever, and we'd prank people, like bus boys, and make them drink like glasses of vodka, but it would be glasses of water. Are you okay?
Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's okay. And so, like, I love a good prank. And so I think it's a pretty good prank.
I mean, yeah, I think it's funny. I'm just like, how old are these people?
Well, they're like our age. Well, at least Melissa is.
Yeah, that's true. They're not. Yeah, I guess they are about our age. I just don't like vodka at all. And I don't like drinking to get drunk. And I really don't like for me, alcohol and consent are really important. So
I can understand that.
I'm just the party pooper.
I'm sorry. Well, I mean,
No, I
you
don't think
wouldn't
any of
be
them
going
care.
to his party. You'd be like, I don't want someone to spike my drink or spike my punch. Like, you would probably know that this is something that they're used to doing, or that they're usually do, and so you probably would not be going to that party.
Yeah.
Have you never been iced before or participated in icing?
I don't even know what that is.
Goodness. Okay, so icing, and we used to do this all the time at that bar. So basically, it's a Smirnoff Ice, and you'd hide a Smirnoff Ice somewhere where someone would find it. And when they find the Smirnoff Ice, they'd have to take it out, get down on one knee, and chug the entire Smirnoff Ice in one sitting. And so that's called, oh, you just got ice. And so we used to hide Smirnoff Ices for our bus boys to find. Like, I used to hide it in like the ice bins. I'm like, oh, can you get me some ice? And then you hear like, oh, like, you got me. And like, they'd have to go and like chug their Smirnoff Ice. And so it was a huge phenomenon for years. And it's still a thing now.
I've never worked somewhere that drinking on the job has been acceptable in that way.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's a Toronto thing. Montreal, like, it's like blackout to do your cash out.
Yeah. No.
Well, icing, I mean, I'll never ice you, but
Thank you.
it's kind of hilarious because Smirnoff Ice tastes so bad, and you're just
Yeah.
like, you don't want to do it at all, and it's just kind of like a funny prank. It's like a universal prank, you know.
Okay.
It's funny that you don't know it though.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
even think I've ever actually. I don't even think I've worked somewhere where Smirnoff Ice has been on the menu or Smirnoff has been on the menu.
that's a fair assessment. No restaurant that I've worked at in Toronto has Smirnoff Ice. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's too fine dining. But I've
Smirnoff
worked
is
in
too fine
some.
dining.
No, like the
The
places that
restaurant
I've
is too
worked
fine
at.
dining. Yeah.
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 Or like are too like niche and trying to do things like really cool.
Yeah.
But I've worked at a lot of nightclubs, a lot of
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah, that makes sense
Different.
for a nightclub.
Definitely different. And yeah, it's more of a club drink.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like Mike's Hard Lemonade?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I know what that is, but I would never willingly drink vodka.
Okay, so this maybe should be the segment. Like, so have you had any of the drink? Have you had sangria before?
Yes.
Good. Have you had Tequila Mockingbird? We have no, it's called Tequila Bookworm. But what's it? A Tequila Mockingbird.
I was looking it up earlier. It's tequila. There's jalapeno, watermelon. Let me just
watermelon.
Agave. I mean, it's kind of sounds like a margarita with flavors, other flavors.
Watermelon.
Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, I drink it 100%.
I mean, I definitely love tequila.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing.
Maybe next time we meet up, we should do like in life, we should do like, let's make drinks from the Real Housewives and like have like a little sample.
I would really be down for that.
We could totally do that the next time we meet up. Okay, so I mean, I would love a Tequila Mockingbird. That sounds like a delicious cocktail.
Yeah.
Sangria, you have to make it well for me to really enjoy it, but it's definitely okay. And that's all for now, drink wise. So, okay, so back to Melissa and Joe. They're still on the fact that Jennifer said in this Instagram post that, oh, they're crooked or whatnot. Would you be this offended by someone saying you're crooked if you weren't?
There's definitely something there that is really bothering Melissa. And yeah.
Well, last season, I can't remember the family. Was it her husband? I can't. It might have been Jackie's husband. Someone was fighting with Joe because of the fact that they thought that they were going into a deal together. And Joe was like, no, like you were just supporting this. Like I had no intention of paying you. Like, and it was a whole big thing that they thought that Joe owed them money. But Joe was like, no, that wasn't the agreement. The agreement was like XYZ.
That's pretty crooked.
Right? But like it was resolved that he didn't owe him any money, but like it was a misunderstanding to a certain extent of like who owed who what for and how much. So that I think it was crooked. If there was any like blurred lines, like okay, it's a little bit crooked, you know? Like,
how do they make their money? Like on the show, what do they say?
I don't even know. I don't know how any of them really make their money right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Other than Jennifer's husband is a doctor.
Oh, Jennifer. Yeah, he's a plastic surgeon. I was thinking Jackie. I was like, what's Jackie's husband do? I'm like, I don't even remember. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched a series in so long, so I don't really remember all their backstory.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like she keeps bringing it up because it brings attention back to her.
Yep.
And she won't let it go because she just wants to have conflict with Jennifer.
It's like, I mean, your husband is kind of crooked, and maybe it is embarrassing for people to think that way of you, but like to say crooked is not that big of a deal. It's not like being like, yes, she's being indicted for embezzlement and I have proof. Like, it's not like, oh, these crooked people, like, they're shady. They are shady.
Yeah.
Come on, you're putting vodka in your water thing. That's a little bit crooked.
That's a little bit shady. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's pretty much the the scenes for Melissa and Joe. So then we also have Dolores and Frank at her shore house. They do start joking around about breaking furniture and like he broke the bedpost from having sex. I don't know if I believe that. But they do get a little bit of a vulnerable moment from Dolores. So Dolores is like, said that she was what was the wording? I think you said the wording before about David.
She feels shitty, I think is what she said.
And
Or
that
I
she
feel
got it.
bad, or I feel horrible, or I feel bad or something. I don't know.
And he was like, I don't think he even cried over our divorce.
Yeah. And she's like, I did, just not in front of you. You just didn't see it.
So she needs to, I want Dolores to get the help that she needs because that will bottle up and cause disuse in the body, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm also glad that Frank's around. Like she said, stay near, which I thought that was kind of tender and cute.
Absolutely, because he's pretty much saying that, well, they rehashed Jackie's comments. And so the comment that's being rehashed about Jackie, I think this is the one, where when Jennifer was leaving with Bill, Jackie said something like, I don't feel bad for Bill. He shouldn't put his bleep in another woman's bleep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is somebody standing up for a friend. Oh, sorry. Do you know what? Let me pause. Let me rewind. So actually the comment that they're talking about there was that Dolores wasn't a good friend to Jennifer. So what do you think? Do you think that Dolores has been a good friend to Jennifer?
Like on this season so far?
From what you've seen?
No, because first she said, oh, Jennifer, I'm on your side. And then she went and talked with Margaret and was like, oh, Margaret, actually, I'm on your side now that I know the other side of the story. And then she never went back to Jennifer and said, I think Margaret's right. So I think Dolores is kind of like
just not really getting involved, but wants to people to believe that she's super loyal. I mean, I think she is super loyal. I think she would go to blows, but
yeah, she would, but more, yeah, I don't know. I don't think she is loyal to Jennifer right now.
So then she does talk about Jackie's comment about Bill. So did you think that comment was that bad? I thought it was like, that's a friend being like, not blaming the woman, blaming the husband,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with what she said.
Did you think it was super vulgar? Like Dolores?
I mean, I don't care.
Vulgar. I don't care about. Or is such a prude.
Vulgarity. Like, what do you want to say? What do you want her to say? Like, what is a less vulgar way of saying it?
I'm not to say it at all, I guess, or just not be Jackie. It's probably just not be Jackie. And so that's it for their story up until getting to the house. And then the last story, is that the last one? And then the last storyline is Bill and Jennifer. So they do talk about making some progress with Margaret. She didn't really like Dolores's bulldog attack of Jackie about the situation. So I want to hear more from Bill. I want to know why he cheated. Since it's a storyline, I want to know how he feels about the situation, how he feels about his wife being attacked by these women. Like, I want to hear more from Bill's perspective as to what's been going on, because he's the topic of a lot of conversation and he's a man of few words.
I don't think we're going to hear it.
I want to.
We're not going to get it from him. Not on this show anyway.
Well, that sucks. So lastly, Margaret and Bill are all leaving together to go to the shore house. So Evan is driving and then everybody else is in the back seats. And so when they finally arrive, when they're in the car, Marge, Bill, Jackie, and Evan, they're all talking about Louis again. The Louis rumors.
This I was really annoyed by. Like, who cares about Louis?
It's so inconsequential to me. Like, it's none of it is indicative of how he treats Teresa. Yeah. None of it is indicative of how she feels about him, like, or how he might treat her in the future. Like, actually, what it says to me is that if he cares enough, he's going to be willing to do what he thinks it takes to be able to get her back. So as we've mentioned before, we think it's a positive. This strange camp that he went to. Like maybe it's not the style of therapy that we would partake in, but he did something. He definitely did something.
Yeah, and I think Jackie needs to let it go.
Hi, Diva. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today? So Jennifer also shows up at their shore house with her kids. We see, oh my God, I'm so grossed out about Melissa and Joe. And so she's like, she's already had a couple of drinks. Tracy's showed up by this time. And she's like, oh, I'm just like hungry. I'm hungry. And he's like, oh, you want an Italian sausage? Like,
it was a very sexual episode.
Very sexual episode. And I don't find Joe Georges like attractive at all.
Right.
Like, actually, I find none of the husbands attractive. Okay, rank them. How do you rank the husbands? Who do you think who would you most likely to get it on with and least likely?
Well, I'm gay, so I'm not gonna get it on with any of them. But I think none of them are. I think they're all the same level of attractive. Like none of them appeal to me in any way.
No, I mean, I agree. I put them in order though. If like, bullet to the head, gun to the head.
Like I feel like the Salt Lake City husbands are all attractive.
Okay, yeah.
Except the grandfather.
Maybe he was cute in his prime.
Maybe, yeah. He probably was. But none of these husbands really,
I think my order, oh my God, I'm not even into this.
I'm really not into muscly men.
I'm not into muscly men, but I think that Frank would be the most fun. I think next.
I think you're right, actually.
Next, maybe Evan.
Maybe Tiki.
Oh, Tiki. No, Tiki's number one. So Tiki's number one. I forgot about him. Then I guess Frank. Then I guess Evan, because later on the episode, he's starting to get a little frisky as he gets tipsy. So maybe
but what kind of person? What I mean, it's for me. It's like you need to get frisky and be at a beach house to get like.
Joe's parties people are known to have sex at, so
okay, I see.
Maybe it's just like in the air. Yes, I am well. Are you well, Rachna?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you, Diva.
Okay. Of course.
I feel like several of these men are probably have a repressed sexuality.
Yeah, they're probably, I mean, they probably think they're good in bed, but they're probably just like jackhammers,
Yeah, like exactly. Like they're probably their sex lives are probably too defined by the idea of what they think,
like porn styles.
Like how many of them have probably explored with receiving anal sex?
I do not think any of them have.
Exactly.
I think that's a no-go zone.
Exactly. Yeah, because they think it's not, it's gay or something, but they probably all want it.
They have so much aggression. They just want to like
exactly
get it.
Exactly. And I feel like that's why Frank would be the best time, is because he's probably had sex with more women and has maybe experienced more and is probably a little bit less restricted or less repressed.
I can see that. I mean, Joe, I think, is probably the biggest homophobe out of the group. Oh, okay. And yeah, I think that he would be like, yeah. So Margaret is Margaret, Jackie, Evan, and Joe show up. And Melissa's a little bit tipsy, and so she starts lifting up Margaret's skirt. Was she not wearing any panties, or was she?
Margaret? No, she was wearing a green bathing suit. Are you talking about Margaret?
Yeah, when they walked into the house.
Yeah, she was wearing The first time, I don't know. I didn't
I
notice
wasn't sure because
anything.
she was like, "Oh my god, you just saw my vagina," but
No, I
like,
think they were. Well, that was off camera, but yeah.
anyways, Margaret might have been acting a little saucy. Who knows? So Margaret does get a glass of water from Joe, and she's just like, "You sick fuck," because it's vodka, and Evan acknowledges that it's straight vodka. Teresa shows up at Jen's shore house. And says that Louis is going to be coming later. And she really loves that she just had come back from a dance competition in Boston with her daughter Adriana, and Adriana actually posted a picture of her and Louis and herself, like her Adriana, at the competition, and posted on Instagram. So Teresa's feeling really happy about this, for the fact that like they've welcomed Louis into their life. And
Okay.
so I thought it
Yeah.
was a nice moment.
I think so too. Yeah.
Jennifer is talking to Teresa now. Oh, sorry. Teresa shows up at Jen's shore house. Sorry. Um, and they talk. Okay, so Teresa and Jen are talking about what had gone on, because Teresa wasn't there because she was in Boston at the keg party. And so Jen's like, Patterson came out. So is Patterson her maiden name? Or is it
she's
an area?
from Patterson.
Okay, I don't know anything about this area. Do you know any more than I do?
No, but what I gather from the episode is that it's a bit of a rough and tumble place.
Let's see what it
I
says about
think
Patterson.
earlier in the episode, it said something about her being from the streets of Patterson, or like growing up, like, learning how to fight on the streets of Patterson.
Oh god. Okay, it sounds pretty bad. It doesn't really say, but like the first thing that popped up is like Patterson, New Jersey, crime. So I guess it is like a little bit of a rough area, but it doesn't have anything specific that I've found so far. And so they decide, though. So Teresa asks if like she can have the barbecue that she was supposed to be having at her shore house at Jennifer's shore house, because a lot of family and Louis' parents, et cetera, are going to be at the shore house, at her shore house, and she got the dates mixed up. So Jennifer's hesitant, but she says yes, which I think she shouldn't have said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's her name? Margaret's husband, Joe, is like pulls Jackie down onto the bed with him, and was like, I haven't been in a bed with a woman in 10 years. And I was like, is he getting frisky? Like, is there gonna be some orgy that's going on? Like I still can't believe that you got a woman, because I find you the least attractive out of all the men. You're nodding. You were thinking the same thing?
Yeah, I think they're all like
A little bit swingery.
I don't think they're swingery. I just don't want to know about any
But
of their
then
sex
we have
lives.
Melissa walking in on Margaret naked, and it seems like a regular occasion. So Margaret's just like loves being naked, apparently.
I can see that Margaret loves being naked. Yeah.
So that's when we get back to the kitchen, and we see Jackie standing in front of Evan, and she's like, "Oh, have you been feeding him that vodka? Because like he's already trying to stick his shit in my back." I'm just like, there's so much penis talk and like sex talk with these people. I mean, everybody does it, like it's completely natural, blah blah blah. But I don't know, these people, I'm not really that excited about picturing having sex.
Yeah, like I'm all about like sex talk and sex positivity, and like think more people should enjoy sex, but I just don't care about their sex lives. Like if Heather Dubrow was to talk about her sex life, I might be more interested.
I would be so interested.
Yeah.
I find her very entertaining. She's so interesting.
Like Mary Cosby. Do you think Mary Cosby has sex? Like I want to know that.
At least once.
At least once. Or maybe not. Who knows?
Oh, true. Immaculate conception.
Yeah, exactly.
So they all get into a Sprinter van to go for a beach day, and we do have another hospitality hero over here. And this poor woman looked as though she was in over her head a little bit.
Yeah.
She looked scared, and she looked like she didn't have any sunblock on, and I was definitely worried for her. So Dolores is there first. She orders a pina colada, and of course Frank orders a Tito's and Red Bull. Like, he's so vodka Red Bull guy, or high end vodka, like, yeah, a Grey Goose Red Bull. Like, he's so that guy. And
But
then he
he
got
also ordered a small pina colada.
which I think that he just wants that for the flavor, or maybe he always just wanted to order the pina colada, but like,
Yeah.
you know,
But yeah, he's a vodka and
man,
Red Bull guy.
he's so vodka Red Bull. So Dolores wants her to stick around, or not to go too far, because like her friends are going to be coming. I do love that it seems that Frank always makes a point of saying thank you so that the waitresses hear them. So
Yeah.
I definitely like that. I
Yeah.
always notice that he's always like thank you and like actually
Yeah.
acknowledging them. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing. So Jen shows up. Frank gives his baby pina colada to Jen. It seems like, oh, and Joe and Melissa show up, and obviously Joe's like around at Casamigos. So have you had Casamigos?
I have, yeah.
I actually really like that vodka, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's George Clooney's vodka or tequila.
Tequila, yeah.
Definitely the reposado is delicious. When I was working at this Katana, this like high-end sushi restaurant, the owner was obsessed with it. And you know, when owners want their staff to drink with them, and I was working behind the bar, so I would just always just drink Casamigos with him, kind of go shot for shot. It's still a very good tequila. Some people are just like, oh, it's too sweet. I'm like, I kind of like that vanilla-y, buttery tequila taste. I think it's delicious.
Yeah, I think it's really popular. I often get requests like people ordering Casamigos.
Yes. And also when I worked, so the same owner, he's part owner of the Wolfpack, which is the Toronto rugby team. And so I would work his beer gardens as well. And so there was a tent always of Casamigos, and I just always get free Casamigos there. And so we would do like ski shots of Casamigos. Sorry, you're probably like you've never done a ski shot. So never mind. Never mind. No judgment, but back either way. So who wants to be fondled right now is what Melissa wanted to ask. So apparently she gets a little bit same sex lovey-dovey when she's tipsy, which that's kind of fun. I'd probably like, I think I vibe with Melissa, but I don't like her take on the Jennifer situation. I think she should get over it. And I don't like the fact that she's married to Joe. I think it's a bad call.
Yeah.
So Teresa, when she's there, she talks about the change in the barbecue locale, and like we have like the moment where people are just, you think that people are like upset about it, but then that just goes nowhere. And we see the guys are kind of separated, and Joe's retelling the story about like at the keg party, where Melissa was asking him whether or not he had sex with Dolores when in high school. And so he's saying how he was sleeping and he woke up and in the middle of the night and she's standing over him like the exorcist, asking him, did you have sex with Dolores? Which that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too. And I feel like we still don't have a clear answer on that, but I do want to know.
I mean, it might have just been like teenage stuff.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean?
That's why I think they should just say, yeah, we did it.
Or maybe they didn't have sex. They were just like
fooled around,
or like he saw her boobs. Like, I don't know. It just like, I think it's probably less than sex.
I feel like for a show like this, where everyone kind of is from there and grew up there, it's only like to be expected that they had, there was more of that flirty or sexual vibe, or like, there's more intersexual experiences when they were kids or younger.
Absolutely. I remember when I was like, I don't know, 6 years old, like we used to play, or 8 maybe, play hide and go seek with like my best friend and her brother. And like we'd be hiding and like kissing in like the closet when we're like 8 or like something. You know what I mean? Like I'm not into him at all. Like I wouldn't call that like us making out, but like we were really young and just like,
exploring.
Exactly. So I think that they might have done stuff, like just explored, as you say.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, we know that Dolores was friends with his brother, with his sister. So I wish that the show brought in more of that history, you know? Because, for example, you know,
his sister's Teresa.
No, but Dolores said that his sis. Yeah, so is she talking about Teresa?
Talking about Teresa, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So they were friends in high school or something.
Mm-hmm. Or they've known each other since then, anyways.
Yeah, so, you know, like with the OC, not everybody is from there, or even, you know, there's just more people that have moved there. With this show, I feel like it's really about how all these people grew up there, or most of them did.
Yes, it's true.
And so I really want more like old school drama to like, yeah, because I'm sure there's lots of it.
I mean, maybe we need to just go back and watch other seasons, because maybe it's all been aired out already.
Maybe that's true.
So the guys are still talking about Louis, and now there's some sort of illegal rumors going on, which they didn't make very clear. And bouncing back to the girls' side of things, Dolores is telling Jennifer about the comment that Jackie made about, like, he shouldn't stick his D in another woman's V. And she gets very upset about this. I'm wondering if this is just for some storyline or whatnot, because, like, I wouldn't be upset about that at all. She's like, she shouldn't be saying that about someone's husband. Like, what? She's supporting you here.
Yeah, but Jenny's really conservative.
Like, oh my God, it's just whack, I thought. So she's disgusted by the comment, but everybody's going to go back to Jennifer, or the houses, I don't know which house, and go to the pool. So Jennifer and Teresa go back to Jennifer's house. Their chef arrives for the barbecue. And then Teresa gets a phone call from Louis, and he says, I just want to get out of there. And she's like, I'm mic'd. And I was like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And then Teresa texts Melissa something that Melissa didn't seem to respond to the group effectively, so that I understand what was actually said, but to the effect of back up Louis, like, don't gang up on him, something like that. So Melissa's like, so that means that Teresa's going to be on one when she comes. And I'm like, does it? Like, what's happening? They weren't clear at all about what was said, like what happened, why Louis was upset, what Teresa texted Melissa. Like, none of that was clear. And then lastly, we get the producer talking to Teresa. We actually see the producer, which is a very rare occasion that happens on reality TV. And so she says that she was meeting up with Louis. Louis was upset. And Teresa's like, well, if Louis doesn't want to be on camera, he doesn't have to be on camera. Like, this is like, I'm the one that's in the spotlight. He does not have to be on camera if he doesn't want to be. It's fine. And then Teresa leaves, and she's like, I'm leaving. And why are you still filming? Go F yourself. To be continued. So you said that you weren't intrigued by the ending. I'm kind of intrigued.
No. I'm intrigued. Yeah. I'm like, okay, maybe the drama is really going to start now, but also maybe it's like a false cliffhanger where there's really nothing, you know, maybe he's just like having a vulnerable moment, and there's a buildup which implies that something really big is about to happen, but that doesn't actually mean that something big is about to happen. It could just be, you know, to keep us coming back.
Yes, and I will come back because I do want to know what, exactly what I said. That was the only interesting part I found about the entire episode, was the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
What happened there?
Yeah, I think it was like, I was disappointed that they showed the producer, because, you know, I'm kind of a fan of the fourth wall, like even in reality TV. So I feel like,
you don't like breaking it?
Yeah, why was it necessary for the producer to share, you know, why did they leave that scene in where, you know, they were like, oh, it's almost like the producer is trying to create drama, and I know they do that, so why do you need to show it to us?
I think that with breaking the fourth wall, it seems even more real. Right? It's even more reality. Her saying like, "I don't stop filming me." Like it's more voyeuristic, and I think that they're trying to make it less glitzy and produced, and they want it to seem more raw.
I guess, like, on one of the Zion episodes of Salt Lake City, the producer like ran into the bathroom with the women. And at first I was like, well, why did the producer do that? And I was like, oh, probably to potentially break up a fight, like to be there in case the women started fighting to break them up. I get that. Or like, if it was a conversation like, I just got off the phone with Louis, he got into a car accident. That I get, but what was really the point of the like? What did the producer say?
She's just telling the story about bumping into Louis and Louis not wanting to, or Louis being upset.
Yeah, so I don't see what the point of sharing that is. Like
Well,
we
we'll have
know
to
he's
tune in to find out,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They did not tell us anything. So
Yeah.
who would you say is the pot stirrer of the episode?
I still think it's Margaret pot stirring.
Margaret, I'm going to give it to Dolores because it's a little, or maybe that producer.
Yeah.
She might be stirring the pot there a little bit because, this is Teresa's job. And for her to be like swearing at production, like, because she's worried about her relationship, that producer might have been pot stirring there because you could definitely tell things to Teresa in a way that she's not going to react like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we made it through that episode. It was a little bit challenging to to recap. So hopefully the next one is just like 4 big scenes that we can just
Yeah.
like talk about as opposed to like these little vignettes.
Yeah.
So do you have anything going on that you want to share with the people so that they can follow you, read, watch? Anything?
I'm gonna be posting a lot about Tampa Bays in the next couple of days. So
Sweet.
tune in. My Instagram is @checkoutRHONJ.
Perfect. And that Instagram handle will be in the description box below. Obviously, thank you, Rachna, for being here. And if you guys are still here watching, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're just building our community of people that love reality TV. And I would love to know, who do you think was the pot stirrer of this episode? I want to hear it. Is it the producer? Is it Margaret? Is it Dolores? Who made the most mess this episode? Awesome. Well, we'll be seeing you next week. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks, everybody in the
Bye.
chat. You guys are the best. Love
Thank
you.
you.